This will sound very strange, but Emperor Palpatine and Sith Lord Darth Sidious is an important prophecy that is revealing the identity and the timing of the arrival of the Antichrist, as well as revealing that James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, will die on July 19th, 2024. The date that this video is posted proves that this prediction was made ahead of time, as does this timestamped email and forensic notes PDF. If you are skeptical, please email me and I will forward these to you. Although it has been known since the autumn of 2019 that the death of James Earl Jones will be a major prophetic sign, as we can see, this email here documents that this prediction that James Earl Jones will die has been known since at least November 2021. There is zero news of James Earl Jones's health as of the date that this video was posted. Furthermore, the reasoning that I am about to explain confirms that the supernatural is involved with these predictions. Also, I have known that the death of James Earl Jones would be a major prophetic sign from God since 2019. Make no mistake, the reason why God has given me a voice through these predictions for the death of James Earl Jones is to prove the things that will be explained and stated in this video. This is the purpose for these predictions from God. To not appreciate this is to miss entirely the purpose of this prediction from God. It is predicted that on July 11th, 2024, former President Jimmy Carter will die. I do realize that no skeptic will believe that predicting the date of Jimmy Carter's death will be anything more than luck or coincidence, given his age of 99 years old and him currently being in a hospice. That is why it is also being predicted that on July 19th, 8 days after the predicted death of Jimmy Carter, whose name is also James Earl Carter, will be the death of James Earl Jones, the voice of the Lion King and the voice of Darth Vader. Jimmy Carter was born in 1924 and will die in 2024 because the 2424th word, 2424th word, in Strong's Greek Concordance is the word Jesus. Jimmy Carter, JC, hints at Jesus Christ. James Earl Jones, the voice of the Lion King, who also played King Jaffe Jaffer in the movie Coming to America, is King symbolism. JC, Jesus Christ, is the King of Kings. No rational person will be able to conclude that when Jimmy Carter will die on July 11th and James Earl Jones will die on July 19th, as predicted, that it will be a coincidence or random luck. The date that this video is posted proves that these predictions are being made ahead of time, as do these time-stamped emails and forensic notes PDF documents. If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I will forward these to you. Hello, welcome. I am predicting that former President Jimmy Carter will die on July 11th. And that his prophetic funeral, in which Trump will sit next to Obama, will be on July 16th. I am predicting that James Earl Jones, the voice of the Lion King and the voice of Darth Vader, will die on July 19th. I am predicting that Vice President Kamala Harris will die in a plane crash in St. Louis on July 22nd. She will be replaced by Michelle Obama. I am predicting that singer-songwriter Paul Simon will die on July 24th. I am predicting that dirty bombs will explode in Manhattan, New York City, and there will be a large-scale evacuation on July 25th. I am predicting that Israel will bomb Iran on July 26th. I am predicting that on July 27th, 2024, the key will open the bottomless pit and fallen angels will cross over into the earthly realm. July 27th will be a symbolic beginning to the fifth trumpet judgment that is described in Revelation chapter 9, when the demonic realm collides with the earthly realm. July 27th will be a symbolic beginning to demons pretending to be aliens, and it is probable that on July 27th, Pope Francis will announce that aliens have arrived and have made him the ambassador for the world. This will immediately give Pope Francis, the Antichrist, supreme power over governments of the world. At some point, there will be a massive Mary apparition that will deceive the masses, because all Mary apparitions in history have been demons pretending to be Mary. July 27th will be a symbolic beginning to a zombie pandemic and the masses becoming demonically possessed that will be facilitated through the thing, which is the mark of the Antichrist and 5G frequencies. July 27th will be a symbolic beginning to the coming genocide politicide in America. I am predicting that on August 2nd, Joe Biden will step down and make Michelle Obama the 47th president. It is predicted that Michelle Obama will make Barack Obama her vice president on August 18th, 2024, and then it is predicted that she will step down and make Barack Obama the 48th president on August 25th. It is predicted that on August 6th, the historic barge that has been stuck on the rocks of the Niagara River for over 100 years will finally break free and crash over Niagara Falls. I am predicting that on August 10th, Israel will nuke and completely destroy Damascus, Syria. I am predicting that on August 29th, President Trump will die from a heart attack. August 13th will be the date of a catastrophic solar flare from the sun that will knock out the power grid in America that will lead to food shortages. August 15th will be the date of the resurrection rapture, the first of two raptures. The second rapture will be on September 5th. The date that this video is posted proves that these predictions are being made ahead of time, as do these time-stamped emails and forensic notes PDF documents. If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I will forward these to you. In the movie Return of the Jedi, the third movie in the Star Wars trilogy, Darth Vader was killed by Emperor Palpatine, the evil emperor that lived a secret double life as Sith Lord Darth Sidious. James Earl Jones was the voice of Darth Vader. The actor that played the physical Darth Vader, Dave Prowse, died on November 29, 2020. He died 3 months and 14 days before March 14th, which is 3/14. 3 months and 14 days, and the date 3/14 hint at the first 3 digits of the number pi, which is 3.14. In fact, for many math fans, the date 3/14 is nicknamed Pi Day. The number pi is an irrational number, which means that it cannot be written as a simple fraction. Past the decimal point, its numbers continue on without developing any kind of repeating pattern at all into infinity. The number pi is also what is known as a transcendental number. Pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference relative to its diameter, and this mysterious number is also found throughout the natural world in areas that are unrelated to a circle. Pi also appears in the physics that describe waves, such as ripples of light and sound. It even appears in the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, and pi also emerges in the shapes of rivers. One could say that pi is God's number that he has baked into his creation. The first 3 numbers of the number pi is 3.14, and in the book of Exodus in the Bible, in chapter 3, verse 14, God revealed to Moses his name. God said to Moses that his name is I Am, which in Hebrew is the letter Het. The letter Het in Hebrew is the same symbol as the Greek symbol for the number pi. And so in effect, God said to Moses that he is pi. Is it a coincidence that God's creation number that is baked into his creation, which is represented by the number 3.14, appears in Exodus 3:14 in context of God's name revealed to Moses? This prediction for the death of James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, that is derived from the prophetic signs that occurred on March 14th, 3 months and 14 days after the death of the actor that played Darth Vader, will prove that it isn't a coincidence that pi appears as God's name in Exodus 3:14. Darth Vader is one of the most recognizable pop culture figures on Earth. By far, the most famous line of Darth Vader's, and arguably the most famous line in all of Star Wars. And arguably the most famous line in all of cinematic history is when Darth Vader says to Luke, "I am your father."
I am your father.
Through these signs and this prediction that is being made in this video for the date of the death of the voice of Darth Vader, God will be communicating to people that he is God, their father. This classic scene in Star Wars is about a father-son relationship, and through these signs and this prediction that is being made in this video for the date of the death of the voice of Darth Vader, God will be communicating that he has a son, Jesus Christ.
It is your destiny. Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
The actor Ian McDiarmid was the only actor in the original Star Wars trilogy to also act in the George Lucas-directed prequel trilogy that was released in the early 2000s. A mainstream national news network named McDiarmid fourth in their top 10 British villains, stating that it was his dark, seductive voice that stole the show, and it was a masterclass in ruling through fear and manipulation, unquote. In the Star Wars series, McDiarmid played a pleasant, charming character in Senator and later Chancellor Palpatine's public persona. The Chancellor's diabolical alter ego was Sith Lord Darth Sidious. The parallel between Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, and this viral image of Barack Obama and a hooded Satan is not an accident, and is a prophetic sign designed by God. A manufactured and phony crisis that was orchestrated by evil forces aligned with Palpatine instilled fear among the peoples of the galaxy. This crisis led the Senate to choose Senator Palpatine as their leader that would bring safety and restore order. Palpatine accepted under the condition that he have unchecked power and unlimited authority over every person. Here's a couple of lines from the movie of Palpatine's famous speech to the Senate. "The Jedi and some within our own Senate have conspired to create the shadow of separatism, using one of their own as the enemy's leader. They had hoped to grind the Republic into ruin, but the hatred in their hearts could not be hidden forever. At last, there came a day when our enemies showed their true natures. The Jedi hoped to unleash their destructive power against the Republic by assassinating the head of government and usurping control of the clone army. But the aims of the would-be tyrants were valiantly opposed by those without elitist, dangerous powers. Our loyal clone troopers contained the insurrection within the Jedi Temple and quelled uprisings on 1,000 worlds. The remaining Jedi will be hunted down and defeated. Any collaborators will suffer the same fate. This has been trying times, but we have passed the test. It is with great reluctance that I have agreed to this calling. I love democracy. I love the Republic. Once this crisis has abated, I will lay down the powers you have given me. In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society." The parallel with our time is just like Palpatine, the Rosetta Stone for understanding the left today, which is evil, and their constant lying, is that everything they accuse the right of, they are in fact the insidious ones doing that very thing. This is actually an old communist tactic. Those liberals that are on the left that are naive to this are what Stalin called useful idiots. I will now demonstrate through God's prophetic signs what he is communicating through the Emperor in Star Wars and through the death of James Earl Jones. Emperor Palpatine and Sith Lord Darth Sidious was played by Ian McDiarmid. Ian McDiarmid was born on August 11th, 1944. The year 1944 hints at the 44th president, Barack Obama. It is through Barack Obama's old pal that he will become president again after Joe Biden replaces himself with Michelle Obama, who will then replace herself with Barack Obama. It is astounding that Ian McDiarmid, who is symbolism for the Emperor and the Antichrist, was born exactly 90 weeks after Joe Biden was born. The number 9 is the most important number in God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections, which is only being explained on this channel, as from the Bible, the number 9 symbolizes God's judgment. But also, the number 90 symbolizes the number 9, and it symbolizes 9 times 10. And it was through the 9/11 events that God pointed to Isaiah 9:10. This is why God uses 90 weeks, 90 days, and 90 months connections in his big picture of signs. This is also an astounding connection because, as explained in the absolute must-watch Biden equals Emperor video, Biden's speech from hell, what people have called his Hitler speech, is an uncanny parallel designed by God with the plot of the prequel trilogy involving Emperor Palpatine and his speech in Star Wars. 3 months and 14 days after the birth of Ian McDermott was the death of Kennesaw Mountain Landis, the first commissioner of baseball. The must-watch 1919 Black Sox Curse Prophecy video on this channel explains the 1919 Black Sox scandal and how, in a moment of crisis, baseball team owners handed the judge, which was his nickname, unchecked power and unlimited authority over every person in baseball. Kennesaw Mountain Landis accepted this position only under these conditions. The Black Sox Curse video explains the connection between Landis and President Woodrow Wilson. One example being is that Woodrow Wilson suffered his severe debilitating stroke during Game 2 of the 1919 World Series scandal. Wilson conceived the League of Nations. The Antichrist Barack Obama, in a time of crisis, will be given the power to take the United States into a new incarnation of the United Nations, which he and the other Antichrist, Pope Francis, will be the head of, which parallels Darth Sidious and Darth Vader in Star Wars. Kennesaw Mountain died in Chicago, a city God uses to identify the Antichrist, Barack Obama, who is from Chicago. God pairs the numbers 9 and 17 together in his signs because it symbolizes Genesis 9:17, the last verse in the account of Noah's flood, which describes God's covenantal sign with man regarding judgment, the rainbow. In a major prophetic sign, Obama famously lit up the White House in rainbow colors. In the Bible, fallen or breached walls of security symbolizes judgment on the nation. In the 5th century BC, the Babylonians breached the walls of security of Jerusalem on the 9th day of the month of Tammuz. And in the 1st century AD, the Romans breached the walls of security on the 17th day of the month of Tammuz. The day Obama lit up the White House in rainbow colors was the day the Supreme Court ruled in favor of gay marriage, and it was the 9th of Tammuz. 9 and 17 are also paired together in order to identify the Antichrist Barack Obama, who was president from 2009 until 2017. Also, Obama arrived in Washington, D.C. as the senator from Illinois in the 109th Congress, and he will return to power as the president in the 117th Congress, which began on January 3, 2021. 900 months and 17 days after Kennesaw Mountain died in 1944 in Chicago was the day of what the media touted as the last full moon of the decade on the date 12/12 in 2019 at 12:12 a.m. in the time zone of the 9/11 attacks. This day was 6,666 days after 9/11, which hints at the Antichrist, as in Bible prophecy, the number 666 is associated with the Antichrist. This was also the day of the Cyrus Jones open heart surgery sign, which, as was explained in the must-watch Seinfeld prophecy video, communicated that the death of James Earl Jones is pointing to the death of President Trump from a heart attack. This 12/12 date in 2019 was also the day of the fulfillment of the Seinfeld basketball prophecy from an iconic episode titled Heart Attack, which was simply a score of Cleveland 117, San Antonio 109, which hinted at the basketball president that arrived in the 109th Congress and will return in the 117th Congress. And while attending Columbia University, a name that symbolizes America, lived in an apartment in Manhattan on 109th Street. As well, Cleveland hints at President Grover Cleveland, who was the only president to serve non-consecutive terms, just like Barack Obama will serve non-consecutive terms. And San Antonio is the location of the Alamo, and the story of the Alamo involves breached walls of security, and again in the Bible, the walls of Jerusalem were breached on the 9th and 17th of Tammuz, hence why this score of 117 and 109 involving San Antonio. This score of 117 to 109 was also another pairing of the numbers 9 and 17 that identify Barack Obama, who was president from 2009 until 2017, and first arrived in Washington, D.C. as the senator from Illinois during the 109th Congress, and will return to Washington, D.C. as the president as a result of Kamala Harris's plane crash during the 117th Congress. 117 plus 109 equals 226, and the 226th word in Strong's Hebrew Concordance is the word that means prophetic sign. Therefore, this confirms that this Seinfeld basketball prophecy is a prophetic sign. The fulfillment of this Seinfeld basketball prophecy of Cleveland 117 to San Antonio 109 on this 12/12 date in 2019 confirms this connection of 900 months and 17 days to the death of Kennesaw Mountain Landis. As well, James Earl Jones's prophetic 90th birthday, on which the media reported that he celebrated his birthday at his home in upstate New York, the 11th state to join the Union, occurred on the date 117 in 2021, which hinted at 109 and 117. His 90th birthday was exactly 42 months after the extremely prophetic Temple Mount in Jerusalem sign on July 17, 2017. The prophetic significance of this is explained in the must-watch Field of Dreams prophecy video, but a period of 42 months is mentioned 7 times in Bible prophecy and regards the symbolic period of the Antichrist's rule on the Temple Mount. In other words, this connection to James Earl Jones's 90th birthday on the date that hints at the number 117 reveals that Barack Obama will be the Antichrist that will rule the Temple Mount in the end times period, and will rise to power during the 117th Congress. Jesus said he saw Satan falling like lightning from heaven. The name Barack Obama in Hebrew means lightning from heaven. Barak means lightning, Bama, the high place, which is a metaphor for heaven used in Isaiah chapter 14 when it says that Lucifer fell from the high place, and the high place was a metaphor for the false religious worship to the false gods that the ancient Jews would do on the tops of mountains. And in Aramaic, the language Jesus would have spoken, the word from is O, hence Barack Obama, lightning from heaven. Either Jesus didn't know what he was saying when he said this, or he said this anyway, knowing that it would confuse us because there would be a famous president named Barack Obama, or he revealed the identity of the Antichrist. Obviously, the latter option is the only one that makes any sense. And therefore, this is 100% rock-solid confirmation that the Antichrist is Barack Obama. And therefore, any kind of speculation regarding Macron, Emmanuel Macron, or Prince Charles, etc., is completely unnecessary and unfounded, and is actually stemming from a unfortunate misunderstanding of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, which says to these people that have this incorrect understanding that for some reason the identity of the Antichrist is unknowable until some sort of date when he steps on the Temple Mount or something to that effect. that's completely untrue. God has definitely revealed the identity of the two antichrists, Pope Francis and Barack Obama. And Jesus saying that he saw Satan falling like lightning from heaven is one of the 100% proofs of this. Therefore, the point being, take action and warn people and hand out the flyers that I hand out and place on car windshields and busy parking lots and in mailboxes. Contact me at darrenjacksinbox@gmail.com. And furthermore, the reason why God has given me a voice through this prediction that is being made in this video for the death of James Earl Jones is to prove that everything else that is being said in this video is true. In this lightning from heaven equation, the word for high place is referenced in Strong's Concordance with the number 1117. In the movie Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader was killed by Emperor Palpatine's powers of the Force using shots of electricity. Darth Vader is Antichrist symbolism, and Darth Vader was electrocuted by Emperor Palpatine. Palpatine's shots of electricity symbolizes lightning, and this death of Darth Vader from this electricity symbolizes Satan falling like lightning from heaven. In the equation of Satan falling like lightning from heaven, the number 1117 references the word for high place. This is why, for example, Barack Obama's long-anticipated book titled Promised Land was released on the date 11/17, which was also the time of the Rockefeller Christmas tree sign and the owl that was discovered in the tree, and the first mention of an owl in the Bible is Leviticus 11:17, and Barack Obama is known for being a night owl. This is also why, from the date of the Cyrus Jones sign and Seinfeld basketball sign on 12/12/2019, it was 11 months and 17 days to the day of the death of Dave Prowse, the actor that played Darth Vader. This connection symbolized how this character Darth Vader died by lightning in the movie. From the day that Dave Prowse died, it was 3 months and 14 days to the date 3/14. And on this day, we received king symbolism signs, including the announcement of the retirement of the NFL's passing king, which was passing away death symbolism. The quarterback Drew Brees was also King Bacchus in the Mardi Gras parade and was a spokesman for Smoothie King. March 14th was also the day that Queen Beyoncé was nominated for a record 9 Grammys and won an award for a video of a song in her movie Black is King, which is a song from her album The Lion King, a movie James Earl Jones also starred in. The date 3/14 is Pi Day. 3 times 14 equals 42. Which again symbolizes the Antichrist that will rule the Temple Mount and then be vanquished from the Temple Mount at the return of Lord Jesus Christ on the Day of Atonement in 2024. 3 plus 14 equals 17, and God uses the number 17 to symbolize the Day of Atonement and Judgment Day in 2024, because the Day of Atonement is the 10th day of the 7th month. As well, in the book of Revelation, the Antichrist and Antichrist system are symbolized by a beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns, for which the number 17 also symbolizes. So, from the date 3/14, if we multiply and add these numbers together, we get the numbers 42 and 17. But this doesn't even begin to scratch the surface for what is really going on here with this 3/14 date and the signs on this date and the trail of signs that it connects to. For that amazing information, you must watch the Field of Dreams prophecy video. And for that matter, once this prediction has come to pass, you will know that you should watch every single minute of every video on this channel. One last thing here is that these signs here involved the number 9. Drew Brees is player number 9, and his announcement of a retirement was symbolism for the passing away. He was the passing king, and it's symbolism for James Earl Jones, the passing away of the king, and he is king symbolism. Queen Beyonce was nominated for 9 Grammy Awards, including her 9-year-old daughter was also nominated for an award. And I think there was another 9. The point is that I can't remember it all. And this is explained in the other video, but this was 9 days after the release date of Eddie Murphy's new movie, Coming to America. And that in that movie, James Earl Jones starred as a dying and dead king. James Earl Jones, this is one of his famous king roles. King, I forget now. But he stars as the king in Coming to America 9 days before these signs involving the number 9. But what also is astounding is that that day, which was March 5th, 2021, that day, by the way, for those that know what I'm talking about, was exactly 1,260 days after the Revelation chapter 12 sign was fulfilled in the night sky on the date 9/23 in 2017. But this March 5th date, and that was the prophetic sign that's related to all of this king symbolism sign, James Earl Jones. But that day, March 5th, was not only 9 days before these signs involving the number 9 on this date, but it was also exactly 900 months after James Earl Jones read the King James Bible. This was the release date of the audio version of the King James Bible read by James Earl Jones, who is king symbolism. And it's 900 days and then 9 days to this date involving the number 9. And this ties back with 3 months and 14 days from the date 314. And so in other words, through this big picture here, as you can see, the day that James Earl Jones, the release date of the audio King James Bible, connects to the day that James Earl Jones will die. All right, here we have come to the end of this explanation for how it is known through this trail of signs that James Earl Jones will die on July 5th, 2024. And I have to first say that this has incredibly special meaning for myself, because this connection right here was the first connection in which it was realized that God was pointing to the date that James Earl Jones would die specifically. I knew in the latter half of 2019 that the death of James Earl Jones would be a massive prophetic sign. But this connection that I just described a little bit, of this 3 months and 14 days to the date 314 from the death of Dave Prowse, the actor that played the physical Darth Vader. This was the first of many, many years of studying James Earl Jones science. This was the beginning of it all. The trail of signs led on in so many different ways you have no idea. Those videos aren't even on the internet anymore because certain channels are not existing anymore, etc. It goes back that far. Anyway, in the end, it turned out that it was all along very simple. But it wouldn't have been possible to know, and furthermore, along the way, so much more information was revealed through James Earl Jones signs. And so it was all necessary. But in the end, it ultimately was so very simple and could have been known. Theoretically, it wouldn't have been known. I wouldn't have never have thought that we would get this far, July 5th, 2024. But it was a simple 188 weeks connection exactly between the death of the physical Darth Vader and the predicted death of the voice of Darth Vader. This is such a profound connection in God's signs, the number 188. There are other 188 connections, 188 week connections for that matter. For example, speaking of James Earl Jones, as explained in the other James Earl Jones video, the Return of the King diagram video, it is exactly 188 weeks from the news of the published scientific report of the lion's roar super flare sign to the super flare sign that occurred on February 17th, 2024. And again, the voice of the Lion King is James Earl Jones, and God is using a metaphor for the coming solar flare with a lion's roar, and that's why James Earl Jones. All of that is explained in the other videos. But anyway, there is that other 188-week exact connection regarding James Earl Jones. And so the reason for 188 is because of the 188th word in Strong's Hebrew Old Testament Bible Concordance, which is the Hebrew word that means prophetic. It means woe exclamation mark, used in the context in the Bible it's used in the Bible in the context of extreme judgment from God. Woe exclamation mark, which is what God communicates with these connections involving the number 188. They are very, very important. This is profound. This exact 188 weeks connection. I am so amazed that all along it would be this simple as well. And so there you have it. You have the Emperor Palpatine connection to the death of James Earl Jones through the death of the physical Darth Vader, confirming everything, the Antichrist, Barack Obama. All right, July 5th ended up being another step in the trail of signs that is leading to the predicted date that James Earl Jones will die, which is predicted to be July 19th. The signs, the relevant, clear signs we received, prophetic signs, on July 5th confirmed all of the analysis, 100% correct. On July 5th, we received the expected in advance king symbolism signs. Much more is explained in other videos, but this was the day that the new Labour Prime Minister of the UK, which is a nation that is symbolized by a lion, met with King Charles, which is Lion King symbolism. And James Earl Jones is the voice of the Lion King. There's much more to this. Joseph in the Bible was made a ruler in Egypt. He was essentially the prime minister. He was the second in command after the king. And he, in the book of Genesis, ruled in Egypt for this period of 14 years, which is what was hinted at with this prophetic sign here on July 5th. It hinted at this 14 days, because on the day that the prime minister was elected and King Charles asked him to form a new government, the 14th golfer in PGA history scored under 60, and on and on. And that's explained in other videos. But it's just another second witness confirmation for the 14 days here. Okay, and so that's, all of this is explained in other videos. I'm not going to get into it here. I just want to draw it out for you in this diagram, how, in fact, the 188 weeks was amazing and correct, and that it led and revealed through the signs on the date of July 5th, it revealed adding an additional 14 days. To get the date, it is now predicted that James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader and the voice of the Lion King, will die on July 19th, 2024. Believe me, I know far better than you how the prediction made in this video was derived. And more importantly, I know far better than you why the righteous Christian God of the Bible has given me a voice through this prediction. If you are a quote-unquote Christian or Muslim, this prediction was not learned through a demon. Be warned that blaspheming the Holy Spirit is the unforgivable sin. If you are a New Ager or New Spirituality person, this prediction was not learned through somehow tapping into the supposed universal collective consciousness. If you are a conspiracy theorist, this prediction was not learned through figuring out a supposed code that the Illuminati and Satanists are using. This prediction was learned through the Bible and through watching carefully the Lord's prophetic signs, which Jesus commanded all Christians to do. Besides proving that Jesus Christ is the Lord, the reason why God has given me a voice through this prediction is to prove that the controversial things that I am saying in the videos on this channel are the truth. Therefore, a wise person will want to watch all of the videos on this channel. Aliens and UFOs are demons masquerading as aliens and UFOs. Most people's spiritual experiences are demonic deception, especially if they are not a true follower of Christ. God became a man and died a horrible death at the hand of the ruler of this world, Satan, and then defeated death for you, so that you too can overcome death, which is the price that must be paid for sin. It is time to repent, which means to change one's ways and turn to God and become a disciple of Jesus. Please leave a like and upvote the video, and once this prediction has come to pass, share this video with everyone you know, and more, don't stop sharing it everywhere in social media. It is essential that everyone immediately read the homepage of my website, TrumpPrediction.com. If you are watching this on the YouTube platform, please note that not all of the videos are on YouTube. You need to switch to the BitChute.com or the Odyssey.com channel. And do it now in case you aren't able to later.